right, guys, so this is really not that difficult to explain. Okay, so here we have the Caduceus present on almost every medical BS in the world. And here you have the serpents of the Caduceus. One represents the male energy, the other the female energy. Now, the male energy is the positive side of it, and the female energy is the negative side of it. So here we have thought and emotion. Okay, so the emotion is represented by the pituitary body, and the thought process is represented by the pineal gland. Okay, so basically what we have here is the flow of energy. This is like an electrical current because the spine acts as an electrical conduit. Now, what is it conducing? So that's why they call it the caduceus. So within it, you have the cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid in ancient Greek was known as Christos, or Christ, which basically means oil. So when you lay it out in a circular form, you get this pattern, and you have the merging of the two stars, which is the Star of David. Okay, so in gematria, this form equals the number 888, which equals God. It spells out God, basically. So here we have the sun. So the fluid comes all the way to the bottom, and then basically they use here as the return of the sun. Here we have the word soon, which is S-O-O-N, but the O's are connected like this, which indicates the vesica Pisces, which is the merging of the energies at the third eye. And then you have the coming of the sun. So it's pretty. You see, that's why Jesus said that unless you become like a child in the eyes of the Father, you cannot enter the kingdom. So when you combine the two energies, the red and the blue, you get purple. So this electric wave becomes a magnetic wave. So then this allows connection to the ether, like an antenna would connect to your radio station type of thing. Okay, so basically what's happening here in the third eye is that there's a thin lighting of cuboidal epithelial cells that allows the informational transfer from the cerebrospinal fluid to the blood. So you get the connection to the ether, and then that mixes with the new blood, which is then expressed out through the arachnoid sinuses, and it's pumped through the jugular directly to the heart. Now that's why Jesus said you enter in and out and find pasture. Now green is represented by the heart and is an anagram for earth, because you need to realize that things are happening on different scales, like the microcosm and the macrocosm. Okay, so basically these are the chakra points, which are represented by colors. And an easier way to look at this is to think of it as a xylophone. You got do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, so the D's represent the doors. So this would be the exit point to hell, and this would be the entrance from heaven. See, cerebrospinal fluid is only found within the spine, within the brain, and the central canal of the spine. But it is also found in fecal matter and urine. So if I were to tell you that when you run out of cerebrospinal fluid, you die, then guess what that means? That is death. It's hell. Okay, so within this, you got the 33 steps to heaven, that Jacob stood here and he looked up and he saw the angels or angels of light descending up and down the ladder to heaven. See, he met God at Peniel or Pineal. So it's like not really that hard. You can find the whole Bible within this structure here. Now you overlay a human body here, you can find more of the systems. So these represent the 7 churches, the 7 lights, 7 candles, the 7 seals of Revelation. Okay, so if you overlay the body here, you get the rib cage, which would be about right here. Those represent the 4 and 20 elders, and the sternum, and the pillar of cloud by day, and the pillar of fire by night. Okay, getting back to the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The reason that the green one is soul is because you're getting the direct connection to the ether, right? So that the soul is, because the cerebrospinal fluid is a conveyor of ultrasonic and light frequencies. So basically when you connect to the ether, you get the soul of man. So then you get Solomon, the sun and moon, or the son of man. So the pineal gland secretes the DMT, and the pituitary gland secretes the what's called the serotonin. So you get the golden honey and the milk. So you get the land flowing with milk and honey. So this is expressed directly to the heart. which gives you the soul of man. And then, like I said, do re mi fa sol la ti do, that is the Song of Solomon. So basically, what you want to do is you have no choice. You're going to end up here at some point, but then you got to ascend the oil. That's why the Father saw the Son coming and he prepared a banquet in heaven. So when he finally made it to heaven, you get to feast and dine in heaven, and you enter in and out and find pasture. So, okay, so how do you ascend the oil? Okay, well, that's actually happening about 4 times a day. But how much of it you ascend is the problem here, because you need to raise at least 10% of the oil in order to gain anything from this. Okay, so like I said, if you're secreting or excreting cerebrospinal fluid through your fecal matter or in urine, you're not ascending the oil enough. So basically what's happening is each of the chakras have a correspondent deadly sin. So you have 7 chakras, you have 7 deadly sins, and what you want to do is convert them to the 7 virtues. Now it's pretty easy to see which ones are which. So the red one would be lust, the green one would be greed, okay, and this one would be envy. So basically what's happening as you're converting them, you just need to think about it as collapsing these areas here, and the oil is slowly making its way up. For example, the yellow one is fa, like do, re, mi, fa, because it represents the fall of man, because you've descended from the green and you've fallen to the yellow. And then for example, the third eye is T, because it represents the crucifixion point of the energy. So that's where the energy crosses. And then from there, you go on to heaven. So that's pretty much it, guys. So what you want to do is convert the 7 deadly sins into virtues. Now, it's not really that hard to see where they belong. So as you do that, you start to achieve a more gracious status. And then just sit there. You're blessed by grace. And that's it.